hadn't planned on coming back. Not for the funeral, not for anything. But when they called correction, when the obituary made its way to my inbox, I felt something shift inside me. Not grief, not quite. Just the kind of ache you get when someone burns a bridge you never got to cross. The morning of the service, I pulled my old black coat from the back of the closet. It still smelled like mothballs in distance. My hands trembled a little as I buttoned it up. Not from sadness. From the knowing. The knowing that walking into that chapel would feel like stepping into a courtroom where the verdict had already been decided. I didn't belong. The funeral home in Redfield looked just like it did when Mom passed 20 years ago. Beige walls, stiff chairs, the same artificial lilies in the foyer. Except now, those lilies sat atop my father's casket. Lilies. He hated them. They gave him migraines. But I was the only one who would remember that. I hadn't taken 5 steps inside before I saw her, Denise. My sister. She moved like she'd been waiting just for me. Blocking the aisle in a pressed navy suit, her hand tight around the program she wasn't reading. "This is a family matter," she hissed, her voice low enough not to carry but sharp enough to cut. I stared at her, waiting for the smirk, the punchline. But it never came. Beside her, Brian, my brother, stood with his hands jammed in his coat pockets, eyes fixed on the floor like he hadn't known I'd show up and couldn't stand that I had. I nodded once, silent. What else was there to do? I slipped past them and took a seat in the very back row. A tall man sat in front of me, and I was grateful. His broad shoulders blocked my view of the service. I wasn't here to see them anyway. The chapel filled with familiar faces. Neighbors. Old coworkers of Dad's. Women who used to bring Jell-O salad to our house during the holidays. Not one of them looked my way. From where I sat, I could just make out the coffin. Dark cherrywood, polished like it belonged in a museum. The lilies laid neatly on top, like some cruel joke no one else got. Emily, my daughter, sat 3 rows from the front, right beside Denise's oldest. She looked older. Beautiful in that effortless, distant way some people have when they've already decided not to care. She didn't turn around. Not when I walked in. Not when the pastor started reading off the names of Franklin Whitmore's surviving children and skipped mine entirely. I stared at the back of her head, telling myself maybe she didn't see me. Maybe it was all just a misunderstanding. But it wasn't. It was a decision. The pastor's voice droned on about my father's discipline, his commitment, his values. Words that sounded honorable if you hadn't grown up in his house. But if you had, if you were me, you heard the parts he left out. The silence. The rules. The way a single look from him could flatten a room. I sat still, fists clenched in my coat pockets. Not crying. Not because I wasn't sad. But because if I let one tear fall, I might fall apart entirely. And I've spent too many years learning how not to break. After the service, the crowd trickled into the reception hall, white coffee in styrofoam cups. Dry cookies arranged on silver trays like funeral favors. I poured myself a cup, stood by the back wall, and stared at the photo board they'd set up. There were pictures of Dad fishing with Brian's kids. Laughing with Denise at some Christmas I hadn't been invited to. Barbecue afternoons. Office award banquets. But not one photo of me. Not even from childhood. I looked harder. Maybe I missed something. I didn't. They hadn't forgotten me. They'd erased me. I was about to leave when someone tapped my shoulder. I turned. A tall, wiry man stood behind me. 70s maybe. Thin gray hair. A navy pin on his lapel. "Claire Whitmore?" he asked. I nodded, cautious. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small envelope. "Your father asked me to give you this." He was very clear, no one else. I blinked. "Do I know you?" "Don Shepard," he said simply. "We served together a long time ago." He didn't have many people he trusted. But he trusted you. And with that he walked away, like he hadn't just handed me a matchstick that could burn everything to the ground. I didn't open it there. Not in the church. Not under their eyes. I tucked it into my coat pocket, thanked no one, and walked straight out into the cold Oregon air. I sat in my car outside the funeral home for nearly 10 minutes before I opened the envelope. The paper inside was thick, yellowed slightly at the edges, like it had been waiting for years. My father's handwriting was unmistakable. Blocky, stiff, practical. No greeting. No warmth. Just lines. Just instructions. Claire, this family will shut you out. I've done what I could to make it right. Go to First Federal Bank on 8th. Ask for box 19. Trust only Dawn. Keep this quiet. That was it. No, I'm sorry. No, I love you. Just a directive. But it was more than he'd given me in 30 years. And God help me, it meant something. By morning I still hadn't slept. I sat at the kitchen table all night, reading the note again and again, like the words might rearrange themselves into affection. They didn't. But every time I looked at them, I heard his voice in my head. Cold, steady, unshakable. And this time, for once, that voice was speaking to me. I didn't tell anyone. Not Emily. Not my neighbor Diane, who always asked if I needed company when she saw my porch light on too late. I just got dressed, grabbed my keys, and drove. The First Federal Bank on 8th hadn't changed since I was a kid tagging along with my father on payday. The brass handles were still heavy, the green awnings faded but intact. The inside smelled faintly of old paper and 1980s cigarette smoke. Time didn't touch places like this. I approached the counter, palms damp. The woman behind the glass had silver glasses and a pinched bun. She looked like someone who knew how to keep secrets. I need access to a deposit box, I said quietly. Box 19. It's under Franklin Whitmore. Her eyes narrowed slightly, then softened. You must be Claire, she said. He told us you'd come. She asked for ID, had me sign a worn ledger, and led me past the counter and through a heavy steel door. The air behind it was cool and dry like a vault in a heist movie. She left me alone. I stood there staring at box 19 for a second, heart thudding. Then I unlocked it. Inside was a small metal container, unmarked, heavy. I lifted the lid. There was no velvet, no ceremony. Just 3 things. Or a black USB flash drive. Or a folded legal document in a plastic sleeve. A note, hand-scrawled in the same familiar handwriting. Do not let them get this. I sank onto the small bench in the corner, the box resting in my lap. My hands shook. I opened the plastic sleeve first. It was a notarized property transfer. 10 acres of undeveloped land, parcel 387 in Cedar Ridge, Oregon, signed over to me and only me. Not to Denise. Not to Brian. No joint ownership. No estate involvement. It was dated 7 months ago. I stared at the paper, my breath shallow. Why hadn't he told anyone? Why this land? Why me? I reached for the USB next. There was no label. Just a black shell, nondescript. Innocent. But I knew better. I didn't dare plug it in at home. Not with everything I'd seen from my family. If they had gone this far behind my back, if my father had felt the need to hide things this carefully, I couldn't risk them tracking me. So I drove 3 blocks to a repair shop and bought a second-hand laptop for cash. No internet, no accounts, clean. I took it to a nearby cafe, sat in the farthest corner near an outlet, and opened it for the first time. When I plugged in the flash drive, one folder popped up, labeled simply for Claire. Inside were 6 video files, and 1 PDF. I opened the PDF first. It was a scanned letter, typed, signed, from my father. Claire, if you're reading this, it means I couldn't stop what was coming. They'll twist the truth. Take what they think they deserve. But they don't deserve it. You do. You always did. I should have said that in person. My throat closed. Then I opened the first video. It was grainy but clear enough. The kitchen in my father's house. Denise and Brian stood whispering beside the counter. We need him to sign before he gets any worse, Denise said. Once it's notarized, Claire doesn't have a leg to stand on, Brian replied. She doesn't even know about the new paperwork. Let's keep it that way. I sat frozen. My mouth dry. My stomach clenched. They had planned it. Not just to exclude me, but to cut me out entirely, before he lost his mind enough to resist. I clicked on the next file. Emily's voice. Her face younger, scared. She hasn't called me back in weeks. She doesn't even care about Grandpa anymore. Denise's voice in the background. That's the story. Just say that. Make it stick. I closed the laptop and shoved it into my bag. My hands were shaking too hard to finish. They'd orchestrated everything. And now the only proof left in the world was in my hands. And suddenly I understood why my father never said the words. Because this impossible, devastating trust was the closest thing to love he could give me. I kept checking over my shoulder. Not in a paranoid way, at least not at first. But something about the silence in my house after I got back from the cafe felt wrong. Too still. Like the walls were listening. I locked the front door. Then the back. Drew every curtain. Hid the flash drive in the pantry behind a forgotten box of cereal, and shoved the second-hand laptop under my bed. It wasn't much, but it made me feel like I had control. Like I had time. But time, I would learn quickly, was no longer mine. The next morning I noticed the first sign. My back door was slightly ajar. Just enough to be unsettling. I always locked it. Always. But now it hung open half an inch, the wind tapping it lightly against the frame. I checked the windows, no broken glass. Nothing stolen. But when I opened the pantry and moved the cereal box, the flash drive was gone. Gone. They hadn't taken anything else. Not the TV. Not my wallet. Just that. I stood there staring at the empty space, the weight of it hitting like a gut punch. Someone had been in my house. Not to steal, to silence. I grabbed my bag and drove straight back to that dusty tech shop downtown. Paid cash for another laptop. Old basic but clean. I copied what files I had left onto a new drive. Labeled it with a sticker. Mom's recipes. Tucked it in my sock drawer like it was a loaded weapon. Because it was. That afternoon I made tea I wouldn't drink and sat at the kitchen table trying to think. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. That's when I heard the knock. Soft. Casual. Almost polite. I froze. Peered through the peephole. Emily. She stood on the porch with her hands in her coat pockets, eyes scanning the front yard like she was looking for something, or someone. I opened the door just a crack, keeping the chain on. Emily. She looked up. Smiled, small, hesitant. Hey, Mom. Can I come in? I stared at her for a beat too long. Something in me screamed no, but I unlatched the chain. She stepped inside and looked around like she was cataloging what had changed. Like she wasn't just visiting, she was investigating. You okay? She asked softly, leaning against the counter like she used to when she was 12 and grounded. I'm fine, I said. Why? She shrugged. You left the service so fast. Denise keeps asking if I've talked to you. Of course she does. I nodded. You can tell her I'm still breathing. Emily let out a half laugh, then looked down at her hands. She's been saying things. About you. About documents. My blood went cold. I forced my face to stay neutral. Is that why you're here? She looked up fast. No, God, no. I just wanted to hear it from you. I don't know what's going on. Denise is being weird. Controlling. Like there's this plan I'm not part of. I studied her. She looked tired. Unsure. Real. For a second I wanted to believe her. Then I saw it. Just a flash. The light on her phone in her coat pocket blinking. Recording. My stomach dropped. I stepped back. You're recording me. She froze. Guilt spread across her face like a stain. It's not. Brenda just said I should. Admit something? I snapped. Make me sound crazy? Mom, I didn't. Save it. I pointed to the door, my voice shaking. Not with fear, but something colder. Get out. Please, just let me explain. Now, Emily. She backed away slowly, hands raised like I was a threat. I didn't say another word until she was gone and the door was shut, locked and locked again. Then I stood there. Still. Staring at the wood grain of the door like it might give me a reason why. Why my own daughter had turned into a pawn. Why the only person left in the world I thought I could trust had shown up with a microphone in her pocket. I didn't cry. I walked back to the kitchen. Opened the laptop. Clicked on the next video. Denise's voice filled the speakers. Calm. Calculated. If we get her to admit she's hiding something, we're golden. Emily's working on it. The screen went black. And with it, whatever hope I had left for reconciliation. They weren't just erasing me. They were hunting me. The last video sat untouched on the drive for 2 full days. I couldn't bring myself to open it. Not after what I'd seen in the others. My hands would hover over the trackpad, then pull away like it might burn me. Because this wasn't just any file. This one was labeled differently. Simply, Dad. And I think some part of me wasn't ready to hear his voice again. Not if it was going to be cold. Or worse, full of regret that came too late. But on the third night I couldn't sleep. I poured a cup of coffee I wouldn't drink, sat down at the table and opened it. The video opened in my father's living room. I recognized the old recliner, the green drapes, the antique floor lamp that used to buzz when left on too long. He was there, Franklin Whitmore. Thinner than I remembered. Shoulders hunched. A blanket tucked across his lap. But his eyes, they were sharp. Present. He looked directly at the camera. "Claire," he rasped, voice low but clear. "If you're watching this, then you figured it out. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe someone helped you get this far. Either way, I couldn't let them take everything. I didn't fix things between us the way I should have. I let too many years pass. But I saw what they became. And I saw what you became too. Strong. Stubborn. Just like your mother. That land, it was always meant for you. I kept it out of the will. Kept it out of probate. Because I knew they'd tear each other apart. But I didn't want them tearing you down with them. Don't trust them, Claire. Don't give them anything. Not even a phone call." The screen went black. I sat there for a long time after that, hands folded tight in my lap. He hadn't said I'm sorry. He hadn't asked for forgiveness. But this was the closest I'd ever come to hearing my father admit he believed in me. And for the first time in my life, I believed him too. The next morning I called Don. He met me at a quiet diner off the highway, same place as before. He slid into the booth without a word and placed a manila envelope on the table between us. Inside, the original second will. Signed. Notarized. Dated 7 months before Dad's death. Clear. Undeniable. Franklin had rewritten his legacy and done everything he could to keep it secret. "You were right," I told Don. "They broke into my house. Took the flash drive. They're watching me." He just nodded like he'd known it was coming. "He said you'd come to me if things got bad enough. Said you'd try to do things the right way." I looked down at the will in my hands. He wasn't wrong. Don tapped the edge of the table. "Then do it. Go legal. Go loud. Don't let them twist it into something it's not." So I did. That afternoon, I walked into the office of Carla Jensen, a local estate attorney with a reputation for cutting through the mess with a scalpel. I didn't make an appointment. I handed the assistant a sealed folder labeled Inheritance Fraud. Urgent, and waited. 20 minutes later, Carla opened her office door and waved me in. "Start at the beginning," she said. So I did. I told her everything: Franklin's letter, the videos, the forged will, the land, the break-in. I watched her eyes shift from skeptical to razor-focused as I laid out the timeline. She didn't interrupt. Not once. When I finished, she sat back, tapping her pen lightly on the folder. "This," she said slowly, "isn't just a mess. It's a coordinated effort to rewrite a man's final wishes. If this holds up in court, we're not just talking about a new will. We're talking fraud. Possibly criminal." I nodded. "Then I want to do it right. No surprises. No drama. Just the truth." Carla leaned forward. "We'll file a petition to contest the existing will and request an immediate freeze on the estate. If Denise and Brian push back, it's going to get loud. Are you ready for that?" I didn't flinch. They used my own daughter against me. Broke into my house. Tried to erase me. I held her gaze. "I'm past ready." The courthouse smelled like old paper and nerves. I arrived 15 minutes early, parked 2 blocks away, and walked the rest of the way in silence. No makeup. No jewelry. Just black slacks, a plain blouse, and the pocket watch tucked deep in my bag like a talisman. I didn't want to look wealthy. I wanted to look real. Inside, the hearing room buzzed with low voices and rustling papers. Denise sat at the front with her lawyer, draped in a tailored blazer like she was at a press conference. Brian leaned back in his chair, staring down at his phone like this was beneath him. And Emily, my Emily, sat beside them, arms crossed, face unreadable. She didn't look at me. Not once. Carla Jensen was calm, collected. Exactly the kind of lawyer you want when the room turns to stone. When the judge entered, a silver-haired woman with sharp eyes and a tighter schedule, Carla stood and spoke with precision. "We're here to contest the validity of the will currently submitted for probate," she began. "Because we have evidence, documented, notarized, and supported by direct witness testimony, that Franklin Whitmore executed a second will 7 months before his death." She laid it all out. The notarized March 12th will, naming me as sole heir. The journal entry from the drafting attorney, Walter Grimm, confirming the meeting. And finally, the videos and audio files, documenting the manipulation and coercion from Denise and Brian. Brenda's lawyer, slick, overconfident, all crocodile smile, stood up to counter. Mr. Whitmore was in mental decline, he argued. Easily confused. He likely didn't understand what he was signing. The document Ms. Whitmore presents may not be authentic. I stayed still, neutral, but my nails were biting into my palm. Then they called their first witness, Emily. She looked small behind the witness stand, nervous, but rehearsed. Did your mother ever speak to you about manipulating your grandfather's estate? The lawyer asked. Emily paused, then nodded slightly. She said she had a plan, that she didn't trust anyone, that she deserved more than the rest of us. Did she ever mention another will? Another document? She said there was something hidden, a box, that it would prove she was the only one who mattered. It was a dagger, but it didn't go deep, not yet. Then Carla stood. Emily, she said gently, are you aware that your conversation with your mother was recorded? Emily blinked. What? You were wearing a recording device, correct? Supplied by your aunt. Emily hesitated, froze. Yes. I was asked to. Did your mother know she was being recorded? She shook her head faintly. Carla turned to the judge. Your Honor, we have the original time-stamped audio file. We request to submit it into the record as rebuttal evidence. The judge nodded. The clip played. Clear, authentic, impossible to twist. Emily's voice unsure. Mine calm, careful. Describing the letter, the flash drive, the land. Emily asking questions, not accusing. Listening. Nothing remotely manipulative. When it ended, the silence in the room was deafening. The judge leaned forward. Ms. Whitmore, she said to Emily, did you just commit perjury? Emily said nothing, but her eyes flicked toward Denise, who stared at her like she could set her on fire with just her glare. The judge sat back and tapped her pen once. This court will pause all probate proceedings related to the contested will until a full investigation is completed. The March 12th document will be reviewed for authenticity, and allegations of fraud and coercion involving Ms. Denise Walker and Mr. Brian Whitmore will be referred to the district attorney's office for further inquiry. The gavel slammed down. Just like that, they lost the first battle. As I stood to leave, Brian grabbed my arm. His face was red, jaw clenched. You think this makes you noble? He hissed. He hated you. I didn't flinch. Then why, I said quietly, did he leave it all to me? He didn't answer. Denise brushed past me like I wasn't even there. And Emily? She looked at me for the first time all morning. Eyes full of something I couldn't name. Regret? Shame? Maybe both. But she didn't say a word. Outside the courthouse, Carla handed me a copy of the court transcript. They're going to come at you harder now, she said. You ready for that? I nodded, because they thought they could erase me with a piece of paper. But I walked into that courtroom with more than just documents. The days after the hearing moved slowly, quiet in a way that didn't feel peaceful yet, but no longer suffocating. Something had shifted, not just legally, personally. Like the invisible weight pressing down on my chest for years had finally cracked, letting in air. News traveled fast in Redfield. Denise was put on indefinite leave from the accounting firm where she built her image on respectability. Brian's contractor license was suspended, pending an ethics review. The town that used to nod politely at them now whispered behind coffee cups and closed doors. And Emily, she didn't call. Not right away. But one afternoon, I was in the backyard, trimming the overgrown rose bushes, when I heard gravel crunching. I looked up. She stood at the edge of the yard, hands deep in her coat pockets, shoulders hunched. I'm not here to fight, she said. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't answer. I didn't know what to say. She looked down, her voice smaller than I remembered. Aunt Denise told me you were trying to steal everything, that you never cared about Grandpa. And I believed her, because it was easier than questioning her. I let the silence sit between us, heavy like fog. Finally I nodded. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But something close. That night I couldn't sleep. So I packed a thermos of coffee, the worn envelope from the bank, the final court order, and the pocket watch my grandfather's. The one I thought had been lost forever, now ticking steadily like a reminder that some things, against all odds, survive. I drove to Cedar Ridge just as dawn broke. The land was quiet, still untouched. Pine trees stretched toward the sky like they had no idea what this dirt had cost. I stood in the clearing with the morning light filtering through the branches and took it all in. Not just the view but the truth. That this was mine. Not just by law but by legacy. By the one final act of a man who couldn't say I love you, but left me something no one else could take. I took the pocket watch from my coat and held it in both hands, the metal cool against my skin. I closed my eyes and let the wind move through me. This wasn't just about property or justice. This was about not disappearing, about refusing to be erased. They tried to cut me out, replace me, silence me, but I stayed. I stood my ground, and in the end they lost not because I fought harder, but because I refused to vanish.
Understand
They told me to stay away. So I stayed quiet, and they lost everything.